Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Manchester United News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Erik Tanha speaks on Marcus Rashford's form after Crystal Palace loss. Manchester United manager Erik Tanha has backed Marcus Rashford to turn around his form following the 1-0 Premier League defeat to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. The Red Devils secured a convincing 3-0 win over Palace in the third round of the Carabao Cup in midweek, and they were much fancied to beat the Eagles again. However, Roy Hodgson's side took the lead through a sublime Joachim Anderson strike in the 25th minute and managed to hold on to the advantage for the entire game. Tyrick Mitchell made a goal line clearance for the visitors, while goalkeeper Sam Johnston made a wonderful save to deny Bruno Fernandes from finding the net. Rashford, who has netted just one goal this term, had another frustrating outing from the left wing. He lost possession on 18 occasions and did not have a shot on target. Speaking after the game, Ten Hag said that Rashford knows he can do better and backed him to turn around his difficult start to the new Premier League campaign. He told ManUnited.com, "I think he knows he can do better than he is now, and I'm sure it will come. He works hard and it will come, but not automatically. The team has to work around him and they have to invest a lot. The decision making wasn't good enough, and then we don't score." United have had a tough start to the top flight season, and they have already suffered 4 defeats from their opening 7 games, which is obviously a huge concern. The club are currently 7 points adrift of the final Champions League spot. The next league game against Brentford is already a must-win to avoid losing further ground. Prior to that, the Red Devils have a crucial home game against Galatasaray in the Champions League group stage on a Tuesday night. They need to respond with 3 points. United were beaten 4-3 by Bayern Munich on match day 1. Galatasaray won't be an easy opposition. They are top of the Super League in Turkey and have plenty of quality in their attack. Alejandro Garnacho should start against Galatasaray in the Champions League. Manchester United suffered another setback on Saturday afternoon as they were beaten by Crystal Palace in the Premier League. This was the fourth defeat of the top-flight campaign for the Red Devils and the second in front of their faithful at Old Trafford. They are now 7 points adrift of the final Champions League spot and are playing catch-up at such an early phase of the season. The club's immediate focus will now shift to the Champions League, where they are scheduled to host Galatasaray on a Tuesday. The Red Devils suffered a 4-3 loss to Bayern Munich in match day 1, and they must respond with a victory against Galatasaray this week. Ahead of the game, we believe manager Erik Ten Hag should start Alejandro Garnacho following his promising displays of the bench. Ten Hag handed a full Premier League debut for Leicester yesterday, but he was disappointing and did not master a single shot on target. He was replaced by Garnacho after the hour mark, and we saw a good improvement with the Argentine being more direct in the final third. The €25 million rated star had 1 shot on target and 2 blocked. In our opinion, he deserves to make the 11 when United host Galatasaray. Ten Hag has resisted the prospect over the past month as Garnacho and Rashford prepare to play on the left wing. But he needs a solution. Rashford has operated from the right flank whenever Garnacho has been introduced, and the manager should consider this from the off. Antony could be available for selection on the right wing after his return to training on Saturday, but Ten Hag may not rush him back in a short notice. Bruno Fernandes proved to be Manchester United's midfield engine in a frustrating Crystal Palace loss. Despite having the majority of the possession, Manchester United fell to a 1-0 defeat at home to Crystal Palace in what was a frustrating afternoon. With 77 possession of the ball, Man United relentlessly applied pressure to the Palace defense throughout the match, taking 19 shots and winning 10 corners in the process. Still, luck wasn't on United's side as they struggled to keep the ball under control as the rain beat down heavily throughout the match. Also, several United stars put in disappointing shifts. Captain Bruno Fernandes proved once again to be the beating heart of his team's midfield despite facing difficulties of his own. It was Fernandes who got stuck in the most out of all the midfielders. After United's back four, Fernandes has the most touches of any player on the field with 96. The attacking mid completed 60 of his 72 passes, 83%, a highly impressive proportion given the harsh weather conditions experienced at Old Trafford. While his 2 out of 12 completed crosses left much to be desired, Fernandes completed 6 of his 8 attempted long balls, indicating that he showed better composure when playing deeper. He was United's most dangerous player on the attack, as evidenced from his 3 key passes, leading the metric among both teams. The Portuguese playmaker also took a strong shot on goal, forcing a last-ditch save from the Palace keeper, while providing some dangerous corners, including one that Casemiro headed just inches over the crossbar. In defense, Fernandes made 3 tackles, the 4th highest of any United player. This also proves to be a decent statistic given that the away side's attacks were few and far between. Ultimately, while it was a disappointing match for United, Fernandes proved that he is undoubtedly the engine that runs the Red Devils midfield and a key figure in his team's attacking lineup. Erik Tanha gives his thoughts on United's poor home record this season. Manchester United were at times unstoppable at home in the Premier League as they suffered just 1 defeat all season, and that was the opening day. Old Trafford became a fortress, and Manchester United dismantled all of the big sides with the fans behind them. They almost sucked the ball into the Stratford, and at times they beat Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham Hotspur on their way to a third place finish, but it was their away form that was a real concern. United failed to beat any of the top sides away from home, and that was what prevented them from mounting a serious title challenge. After a poor start to the season, United have suffered 4 defeats in the Premier League already. 2 defeats at home and 2 defeats away from home have made it the Red Devils' worst start to the season in 34 years. Speaking to the club's website after the game, Erik Tanha spoke about this and seemingly sounded relaxed about the poor form. He said, "We lost 2 games in a row in the Premier League now, that is clear, but I wouldn't set that as a conclusion right now. Old Trafford needs to be a fortress, and we need to show that you can't get anything here. The only way other teams do that is if we lose. We have to do better here." The next 2 games for the Red Devils are against Galatasaray and Brentford, both games being at Old Trafford before the next international break. 2 wins before the international break would silence some of the doubters who are beginning to question Ten Hag's decision. To progress in the league and the Champions League would be a good way to steady the ship and potentially silence the dissenting noises at Old Trafford. Paul Merson gives his bizarre verdict on Mason Mount's performance in the Crystal Palace defeat. One player who certainly looked at least willing to fight in a Manchester United shirt was their £55 million midfielder, Mason Mount. The Englishman who joined the club from Chelsea during the summer certainly looked as if he carried on his good performances from midweek and was Manchester United's man of the match by far. However, it seems that the midfielder didn't impress all of the watching eyes at Old Trafford, despite Mason Mount seemingly looking more and more confident. Paul Merson, speaking on a Gillette Score Saturday, believes that Mount, alongside one other player, struggled during the game and looked lost throughout. Speaking after the game, the former Arsenal midfielder Merson said, "I just find that Mount and Bruno Fernandes look a bit lost and don't know where they have got to go. They are getting dominated and passed around. They put pressure on Palace, but Johnston didn't have loads of saves to make." The English midfielder completed 93% of his attempted passes and completed 1 key pass in the process, but despite this, Merson believes that the 24-year-old was simply not good enough. The pundit couldn't be further from being right. Mount looked like the only player willing to drive the team forward, with some of his teammates struggling to get involved in the game and perhaps not up for the fight. Lisandro Martinez may require second foot surgery, could be out until December. Manchester United defender Lisandro Martinez may require another surgery after aggravating a foot injury sustained in April this year, according to Sky Sports. The Argentina international suffered a metatarsal fracture against Sevilla last season. As a result, he was ruled out for the final weeks of the campaign after an operation. The World Cup winner made a timely comeback before the start of the new season, but United revealed that he suffered a recurrence of the same injury in the Arsenal loss. Martinez managed to start against Brighton and Hove Albion and Bayern Munich following the international break, but he is now expected to be out for an extended period. Sky Sports adds that the doctors are assessing the best course for his recovery, and a second surgery has not been ruled out. The 50 million euros rated centre-back could be out of action until December. In the absence of Martinez, Rafael Varane could be partnered by Victor Lindelof in central defense. Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans are backup options for manager Erik Tanha. Varane has only recently returned from an injury of his own. The manager may want to handle him with caution, considering his inconsistent fitness record throughout his illustrious career. Ten Hag will be hoping that there are no more injury concerns within the squad. As things stand, he has no senior left backs fit, with Sergio Reguilon, Luke Shaw, and Tyrell Malacia injured. Antony's Man United return was given a green light after consultation with the women's team. Manchester United only approved Antony's return to the team after consulting the women's team. United confirmed the end of Antony's leave absence following serious allegations made against him by multiple women, including his ex-partner Gabriela Cavalin. The player was in Brazil but recently flew back to England, where he voluntarily fielded questions from Greater Manchester Police about the matter. A report covered by the People's Person indicated that the United star was subjected to a 5-hour grilling by the authorities. Antony has repeatedly denied the accusations of assault and causing bodily harm brought forward against him by Cavalin. During Erik ten Hag's presser ahead of the Crystal Palace game, the Dutchman was asked about Antony's integration into the team following a period on the sidelines. Ten Hag told reporters that the 23-year-old will be in a training so as to determine his fitness levels. The Daily Mail reveals that the opinion of the United women's team was sought before ultimately deciding to bring the winger back. A crucial meeting was apparently held in which Director of Football John Murtough and Chief Communications Officer Ellie Norman explained the club's reasoning and interpretation of the ongoing situation. It's understood that the meeting delved into the background and facts of Antony's case. Murtough and Norman were also eager to prove that the Red Devils had learned from the Mason Greenwood incident, which was handled poorly before the Englishman's loan move to Getafe. The Mail adds, "It's understood players were offered one-to-one meetings if they wanted to discuss it further, but no issues were raised, and Mark Skinner's squad were said to be positive about the explanations provided. Norman has made a strong impression on the women's team and was critical in getting the message across before Antony returns to Manchester United training on Saturday." Manchester United keen on a 24-year-old Bundesliga ace who could cost 80 million euros. Manchester United are reportedly keeping tabs on the Bayern Munich defender Matthias de Ligt. According to a report via Vigaches, the Red Devils are looking to improve their defensive unit, and they have identified the Dutch international defender as a potential target. Apparently, Barcelona are keeping tabs on his situation as well. De Ligt has a contract at the German club until the summer of 2027, and he is likely to cost a premium. Apparently, a deal could be done for a fee of around 80 million euros. the Red Devils could certainly use an upgrade on players like Harry Maguire, and De Ligt would be the ideal fit. He has already worked under Erik Tanha during their time together at Ajax, and a reunion could be tempting for all parties. The 24-year-old Dutchman was regarded as a world-class prospect during his time at Ajax, but his development has not gone according to plan. He will be looking to get his career back on track and fulfill his tremendous potential. Moving to Manchester United could be ideal for him at this stage of his career. Reuniting with Tanha at Old Trafford could bring out the best in central defender once again. Manchester United currently have Varane and Martinez as the only reliable defenders at their disposal, and they must look to block their defensive weaknesses with a quality signing in the upcoming windows. Meanwhile, the Dutchman has fallen down the pecking order since the arrival of Thomas Tuchel, who seems to prefer Kim Min-jae and Dayot Upamecano. A move away from Germany could be ideal for all parties, and it remains to be seen how the situation develops. As we wrap up today's Manchester United news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.